Okay, what do you see? You guys ready? What do you see? A bridge? Are you sure it's a bridge? It's an illusion. What do you see? Do you know where it goes to? It could be a jetty, it stops halfway, it could be going to an island, it could be going somewhere, right? So, huh? What do you say? Go to hell? So I want to quote Epictetus. He says this: it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already know. So you've got no idea what this class is bringing you, right? So I just want you to have an open mind. If you disagree with anything, challenge me. I'm serious. You can literally challenge me. The very first semester I taught in TELUS, there was a boy at the back. He raised his hands. He said, "Sir, this guy said your class is bullshit." I'm serious. I'm serious. Then he quickly said, "No, I didn't say that." He did say it, but then it's okay. We can have a conversation. If it is bullshit, we can have a conversation. But I did not penalize him. When there was a special project, I still picked him because he is actually very good. He says bullshit simply because he have seen the material before. He was from A level. He have seen it. This is a semester 1 maths thing. So it's okay. You can actually say that to me. Okay? I'm serious. So, what I want to talk to you, this module is about Innovation 101. Do you guys know what 101 means? The very first class, right? So, Thermodynamics 101 is the very first class of thermodynamics, right? Calculus 101 is the very first class of calculus. So, Innovation 101 is the first class, is the primer for innovation. Let me start with this. What is innovation? What do you think is innovation? New. You say new. Is that it? He said new. He doesn't know what's going on. So what is innovation? Talk to me. New. Something new. Is it? Okay, something new. What else? Something clever. What else? It's an idea. What else? It's an improvement. What else? Something special. What else? Do you notice when you try and think about what innovation is, you don't really know? It is all these things, right? Innovation is about, yeah, it is clever. It is some kind of an idea. Yes, it is about some kind of improvement. These are all correct answer. But what actually is innovation? So let's go through this. Is it a magic pill that when you take it, you become super duper? What's so funny? Would you do you think innovation is a pill that I give you like that? Then you pass this module. Yeah? You wish. We wish, don't we all? Let's look at the definition in the dictionary. The Merriam-Webster dictionary says this: the introduction of something new. You guys said this. A new idea, a new method, a new device, something novel. Okay? Oxford says this: the action or process of innovating a new, again, that new word, right? Something new. Okay? You know what's patent? You can file a patent for something, right? So when a patent is issued to it, it means that it's so new that no one else has seen it before. Okay? So there is a patent in the US, and this item looks like this. You know what's a fishbowl, a round fishbowl? Or like a astronaut cap, round thing, right? So the pattern is that it's upside down, you put over your head. It's got shelf inside that you put cactus on. So the argument is this: the cactus take your carbon dioxide and it produces oxygen for you. It's new. It's so new that it's issued as a patent. Would you consider that innovative? Would you consider that innovation? No? Yes or no? Yes? Explain yourself. Why would that be an innovation? Because it's new. Do you think it's clever? Okay, let me give you another one. This is a real patent that you can find in the US Patent Office. It's a metal stick with a hole at the end. Okay, it is for you to walk your invisible snake. People have pet like a dog or a cat, but you can have a snake. But an invisible one, you just walk the snake. It's a patent. It's issued. It's new. No one else have it before. Is it innovative? Yes? Explain yourself. Why is it? How is it innovative? That's a good one. Which I've got no answer for. Now, you can come up with a clever and different idea like that for your project this semester, and I'll fail you. An invisible what? A. Oh, okay. Yes, I can give you an invisible one. Is innovation this? Oops. Is innovation this? It says this. I have an idea. Let's think outside the box. No? Oh, okay, you don't find it funny. I'll show you a video. This video is taken from LITC. They didn't give me the permission to use this video. I'm still using it anyway. They are having an event, and everyone that comes in, members that comes in, they ask them the question, what is innovation? And this is what they say.
Innovation is the great idea that you didn't know you were waiting for.
What's central to it is problem solving.
Where you look past the typical sorts of solutions to problems.
It's more like an idea or a goal that's expanded and it happens to become a service.
We tend to live in a world, at least I think so, where people say, well, it's just always been done that way, but it hasn't always been done that way.
Think of people that had a passion, had an idea.
People who forget about the rules.
Someone who's not afraid to fail.
Being able to look at all sides of a problem. The unique solution.
It's taking a lot of pre-existing parts, mashing them up, creating a new use for something that hadn't been done before.
It actually creates potential for others.
The creation of new ideas.
You have to see that you can find a solution.
You're just perpetually innovating by moving forward, by figuring out how do I get to the next step.
We haven't scratched the surface of innovation.
Gotta be something that's good for all of us. Then it's innovative.
Here it is, and you can do this too. We all can create this thing. Let's go.
This is a consortium that believe that if you were to teach technology and innovation to any community, it's like teaching them how to fish. They should be able to look after themselves after that, right? The last guy, he says this. He defined innovation as, this is it. We can do this. Let's go. Now, if I'm your CEO, and we all work together, I said, let's go innovate. And I said, innovation is this. What would you guys all do? That's not a definition. Agree? Now, the disadvantage of them having so many different ideas is that the moment the guy says, let's go innovate, they all do different things. Make sense? So if you say it's something new, you start looking for something new. It has to be an improvement, so you start looking for improvement. You don't have alignment. So as a whole, an organization should have a common understanding of what innovation is. So when the CEO or the boss says, let's go innovate, you pull in the same direction. Okay? So let me confuse you a little bit more. Creativity, invention, innovation. The same, different, or related? Is it the same? Is it different, or is it related? Huh? So, they are not different. They are not the same. They are related. How are they related? You know, I designed these slides in such a way that I need you to participate because there is a reason for it. I'll explain after this. Play with me. The same.
Innovation is to make something new. Invention is
can you give an example, say in the form of a product, or a form of some kind, anything that explain the relationship between the three?
So just say if I wanted to make that walking stick for
Walking stick.
invisible stick.
Sure.
That is an innovation because I want to make something new.
Okay.
So in order to make that, I need to make it into an invention.
Okay. So and where is the invention?
Where?
So in that stick, where is the invention?
Creating the design process.
So the how long it is and there's a hole, that is the invention.
Yeah.
And the innovation is?
Using your creativity to think of something new.
So then it sounds like your creativity and the innovation is one and the same.
That's what I think. That's just my point.
Okay, never mind. Anyone else have got a different opinion or different way of looking at things? Are you confused or are you tired? Both. Who is not confused yet? I need you to be confused. There's a reason for it. When you're confused, whatever answer I give you, you'll take it in. You're like drowning, needing air, right? So the moment I give you air, you go, you'll take it in. I'm serious. I need you to be confused. When you're confused, whatever answer I give you, you'll take it in. And you'll stay with you. My slides are done like that. Are you confused? Okay, so let me try this. A friend of mine wrote a little book about innovation. He says this. He says creativity is the ability of the individual, teams, or organization to generate ideas that has got value. Okay. Then he says this. Invention is the action of finding or discovering something that was not previously found or known. Okay. And he says this. Innovation is the thoughtful act of transforming creative ideas and invention into tangible form that creates value. Okay, I want to introduce you a new term, systemic innovation. It refers to the practice of innovation that is structured, sustainable, pervasive, and permanent. So systemic innovation refers to an organization whose culture is one where whatever they do, they're culturally doing things that is innovative. Okay, so creative is that you have the ability to produce idea that has got value. Invention, you just invent something that was not previously known, right? Innovation, Andrew says this. Andrew says that it's the thoughtful act of transforming creative idea and invention into tangible form that creates value. Now, if you study the literature on innovation, especially those guys who practice innovation practitioner, their definition of innovation is this: the creation of value. The creation of value through something else. All of us all say that innovation is about the creation of value. Andrew also says that. He says this, through the thoughtful act of transforming creative idea and invention into tangible form that has got value. We all talk about creation of value, but we cannot agree on how we do it. Okay? So if you ask me what is innovation, I just say it is the creation of value. Full stop. I don't care how you do it. So you could be doing things, whatever way you do, as long as it creates value, it's innovation. Now, you're going to ask me, what do I mean by creation of value? Agree? Or you guys know what creation of value is? Okay, let's talk about creation of value. Many years ago, there was this is like a warehouse. They buy chicken eggs from all the farms, okay, and then they sort it into different sizes, and they'll sell it through the retail store, the Kedai Runcit, and so this is just a big warehouse that they buy, like a distributor. They buy eggs from all the different farms, sort it out into different sizes, and then selling it. From there, it goes to all the supermarket and so on. This is in Johor, JB. That was so a long time ago where the rules as to what you could sell, what you could not sell is not quite there yet. So an egg, when you go and buy an egg, what would you do? You're going to open up and say, are they all in good shape? If you got one ugly looking one, there's a good chance you're going to say, no, I don't want this one. You'll find a pack that has got all the nice looking eggs, right? Yes, no? Or you guys don't do shopping at all? You would do that, right? So if you open up a few and say, yeah, they're all messy anyway. So you're going to shop them around until you get one pack that you're happy with. You buy that. So this company also know that. So those eggs that is slightly cracked or things like that, they have no choice. Take it home, eat it themselves, give it to the neighbors, give it to their friends, give it until but there'll still be a lot more. I mean, these guys receive thousands and thousands of eggs every day. They have to throw it away. For them to throw it away in an industrial area, they have to pay someone to take the tong sampah away, the garbage bin away, right? They have to pay someone to get rid of all these eggs. This man came through to the warehouse and said, I'll buy those eggs from you. These eggs are still good. They look ugly, maybe have some shit on it, or a little crack, or things like that, right? They cannot sell. They put it in a supermarket, they won't sell. Nobody will buy it. They'll swap it around until you still can't sell it. So you might as well just throw it away. This man then goes say, I'll buy those eggs from you. Now, previously the company had to pay someone to get rid of these eggs. Now someone is paying them to get rid of the eggs. What would he say? By all means, take it. What this guy did was that he buy all these eggs, he start a little factory, he cracked all these eggs into small little container. If you are a bakery and you have to crack 200 eggs for that batch, for instance, just imagine cracking 200 eggs, right? Versus pouring 200 eggs, right? A roadside restaurant, cracking eggs versus just scooping the eggs. Which one would you want? You rather pay a little bit more for that eggs for someone to crack it for you, right? Make sense? So what this guy did was that he takes eggs that cannot be sold anymore, crack it for them, still fresh, and he sold it at a much higher price than the original egg itself, even if it's good. So that creation of value from the time where it is worth a liability, you have to pay someone to get rid of it, to a point where he can sell it at a much higher price than a normal egg, that creation of value, the things that he's doing, that's innovation. Are we okay? So that thing that you do, whatever you do that allows something to have better value, is innovation. So I'm going to say something in such a way that you remember this. There's a saying when I was in Australia that we frequently say this: turning chicken shit into chicken salad. Chicken shit into chicken salad. So it's like that. It's a bit like that. But I'm not saying literally turning chicken shit into chicken salad. What I mean is that something that has got not much of a value, you turn it into a form where someone is willing to pay a lot of money for, or pay a lot for. That's creation of value. Are we okay? Let me tell you another story. 10, maybe 15 years ago, my wife's cousin visited a farm. So this farm is where they've got lots of cow. They extract milk. So the shit that is produced by the cow, they actually throw in the river. They do not know what to do with it. So this cousin was like saying it's an environmental disaster. Something has to be done. So he went around and he saw that there is these worms, huge big worms from Australia. You take those worms, you eat those shit, and the droppings from the worms are actually very high potency fertilizer. And you can sell it at a much, much higher price. All he did was he talked to the farmer and said, hey, can you let us use a portion of your land, give us your shit, we'll manage it. After some time, we'll sell that. There's a name for this fertilizer, and we'll split the profit. So what was shit before is now liquid gold. Okay, so that thing that you do to allow the creation of value is innovation. So for me, innovation is that creation of value as long as the thing that you do is legal and morally just. Don't go rob a bank. Don't go kill someone. As long as it's legal, go ahead, do it. As long as it creates value, that's innovation. Are we okay? Okay. Why do we innovate? What do you think? Is it just the word, it sounds good and then we should just innovate? Or there is some basis to it? What do you think? It says hype or hope. Let me share data with you. This is very, very old. 2006, Business Week and Boston Consulting Group used to do this world's most innovative company survey. And that year, what they did was that they compare the performance of the 25 most innovative company, and they compared with the Standard & Poor's 1200 company. Do you guys know what this S&P 1200? It's a rating company, and the rating companies have got some kind of index. This index kind of like tell you the performance of the general world economy, how the companies are doing. Okay, and the 25 most innovative company has a profit margin growth of 3.4% year on year for 10 years versus 0.4%. Let me explain what that means. The innovative company profit margin growth of 3.4% means that profit margin from 1 year to another year, it grow 3.4%. To the next year, grow again 3.4%. To the next year again, it constantly grow at that 3.4%. Do you know what profit margin is? The margin is I'm selling something and it costs me a certain amount. That gap is your margin. The profit margin, if it is growing, it means that for every dollar that you sell, the more you keep for yourself. The more it goes to your profit. Versus supposedly fairly good company in the world is only 0.4%. They are only growing, their profit margin are only growing 0.4% versus 3.4%. So as we would say, chalk and cheese. It's a big gap, 3.4% and 4.4%. So the reason why you innovate is that the creation of value, it shows up in your profit margin. Correct or not? So you do something where someone is willing to pay a lot of money for. The eggs, for instance, it costs the guy virtually nothing, right? Almost nothing. Right? And someone is willing to pay a lot of money for. Your iPhone versus another brand X. A lot of you will be going for the iPhone. Why? It's virtually very similar. But there is some subtle things in that iPhone that makes it a lot more attractive to you than that brand X. Make sense? That's the creation of value. Okay, let me show you from another angle. This is a share price. The blue one is a stock price for Apple, and the red one is Nasdaq. You guys know what Nasdaq is? Nasdaq is a composite index that shows the performance of electronics company or high-tech company in the US. Okay, so if all the companies are doing well, you'll go up like that. If they are not doing well, you'll do that. So if you look at Apple in the past, they were doing a lot better, kind of like somewhere here. They were doing quite good, and then they plunge. You guys know Newton? It's a green PDA about this size that can recognize your handwriting. You know? And the rest are just too young. Okay, never mind. You know Steve Jobs got kicked out from the company, right? And somewhere here he was asked, you see Nasdaq is growing, Apple is falling. It is doing a lot worse than the normal industry. So at that point when Steve Jobs comes back, you notice that from here on, the shape of these two curves is more or less the same. Up to somewhere here. So in the economy is doing well, they're also doing well. People are buying computers, buy a bit of Apple computer. Here, after Steve Jobs came back, he discontinued the Newton. Here, they announced iPod iTunes release. Okay, sometime later, it started to take off. This part where it drops at that peak area, Apple says, the last 4 years of my financial data are all bullshit. So people panic, people sell. But it's a good company anyway, so they come back again. Here is where iPhone announced, it got announced, only, it went up. This is the stock price, yeah? It started shipping, it went up again. So right now it has gone up here and then it's dropped a little bit. Okay? Let me show you the data in a different way. They used to sell only computers. So 2003, when the iPod comes in, you see the growth of the iPod revenue grew a lot faster than the CPU. The CPU is like growing very little bit, but the iPod portion grows to a point that in that 4 years, it becomes half and half. Okay, so let me show it to you in this way. So the iPod growth was so high that it becomes half and half. Actually, overtook CPU. Okay, the graph I showed you earlier. You know October 5th, 2011, what is that? That was the day the founder passed away. So I'm very curious to see if this guy is going to stay out here or go up there or disappear. Go up? We don't know. We shall see. So why am I showing you this? Apple has been rated the most innovative company for donkey years. Since this thing started, like in the year 2000 or 2001 when the survey started. Until now, they are constantly ranked as number 1. And the innovative company seems to have this ability to grow their stock price. So it's actually good value for, it's good for shareholder value. Let me tell you another story. This is a story about Honda. 1970, in the US, this EPA was established. Then this Senator Edwin Mansky submitted this clean air bill. He says, this 1970, the bill requires all car makers after 1974, which means 4 years from the point that it was approved, to have their engine to be 1/10 CO emission, and as well as the HC emission, which means the engine in 4 years down the road is 10 times better than what it is in 1970. In 1970, the rules comes in that in 4 years' time, the engine is 10 times cleaner. Okay? But then this NOx thing is a bit difficult. They say, okay, 5 years. Now, all the car makers says this cannot be done. Can you imagine? You are working on something. I say 4 years from now, your product becomes 10 times faster. It can run 10 times better, use 10 times less fuel or things like that. It's ridiculous, right? Except Honda. Honda says it's okay. It's a challenge. Now, I don't really like Honda as a company. They sold me a lemon before, and but as a company, they're interesting. They're interesting in the sense that they come last in Formula One. It's okay. It's a challenge. You give them a challenging requirement for engine. It's okay. It's a challenge. Very interesting philosophy. So what they did was this. At that point in time, Honda went to talk to a professor in Tokyo University. He says, is it true that if I can have a cleaner combustion, my emission would be cleaner? Meaning I have a more complete combustion, that my emission would be cleaner. The guy says yes. So what Honda did was that during those days, there is no EFI. There is no electronic fuel injection. It's all carburetor and things like that. So they changed the top portion of the engine in such a way that there is this, they call this CVCC. So there is 2 plugs, 2 spark plugs, not 1 plugs per piston, 2 spark plugs. It actually sparks twice. And there is this, like a vortex, it would swirl the air mixture inside so that it would give you supposedly a cleaner combustion. And what they did was that they tried it worked. The only change was the engine block head, the top portion. So they then went, so it was only 2 years after that. They went to Tokyo hotel, and then this hotel, and then they showed the CVCC engine. Now the EPA at that point in time was like very curious. A company managed to do this at that point in time, so they asked for some engine to be sent to them for tests. Now Honda is a small company. Still today is still a small company, a lot smaller than Nissan. So they sent 3 engines, 2 engine new, one that has been running for quite a while. The engine was so big it could not fit into a Honda. It has to be fitted onto a Nissan. And they ran it, and the EPA then say yes, it did pass the EPA clean air bill. Okay, so a company that says, instead of challenging and say how it cannot be done, they say, oh, it's a challenge, and they try and find a solution. They found it. The subsequent year, 73, EPA hold a hearing, asked all the automaker company to for that discussion. Only Honda and Toyo Industry. Toyo Industry today is called Mazda. Says that they can do it. Mazda or Toyo Industry has been playing with the Miller cycle engine. It's a different cycle engine anyway. So both companies can do it. Honda was then asked to sell the engine to other company, and he says, look, we are too small, so they license the technology to people like Toyota, Ford, Chrysler, and so on and so forth. Now, this knowledge as to how to produce an engine that would meet the EPA clean air bill, right? And licensing the technology to someone else simply means someone else can use your know-how. You don't have to do anything. Every quarter they pay you money. If I have an invention that somebody else wants, what they would do is that they'll license from me, they just use it. I'll tell them how to do it. But every unit that they sell, I'll say, for every unit that you sell, I want a certain percentage out of it. So I just goyang kaki, and every quarter, they have to pay me. They have to pay me some kind of royalties. So by coming out with that invention, they make money. That's how you create value. Okay? I can see that you guys are really tired. Taxonomy of innovation. So you can classify innovation in different form. One, radical. Long time ago, when people were riding on horseback, then someone came up with a motorbike. It's radical, right? You ride on a steam train and someone start flying. You fly with propeller and then someone come with a jet engine. Yeah, those are radical steps, and those radical steps are called radical innovation. What is this? Asia. I say it's radical. Why do you think it's radical? Why do you think I say Asia is radical? Huh? You see, do you notice that Asia fly to little cities that you have not heard of? Do you know why? When you land on an airport, right, the airline have to pay to use the runway. They have to pay to use whatever. I mean, you're using. It's like you going to a parking space and you're paying for parking, right? So when you land in a city, you land in an airport, you have to pay fees. Those small cities pay people like them to land there. It's the reverse. Why? Because when you bring tourists in, the tourists bring tourist money. So the city would be willing to pay you to land. Even if they charge nothing for you to land, they'll still make money. They bring enough money that they are willingly paying you for it. I'm very sure he did not come up with the idea. Ryanair had this idea long time ago. Now Ryanair for many years has been saying that they would like to one day pay you to fly with them. It's the same as our school saying that one day nobody pay fees. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Maybe not you guys, but we are working on it. Those are radical, right? That kind of thinking is radical, right? So we are talking about things like you don't pay fees for foundation. May work one day. The other one is incremental. So your engine, 10 kilometer per liter, maybe. So you squeeze it a little bit, you increase the compression ratio, 13 kilometer per liter, maybe. So that little thing that you do to squeeze that little bit more is called incremental. Are we okay? An example would be Kodak. Do you guys know this company? Okay, still good. Okay, not quite that yet. When everyone was moving into digital photography, they were still talking about film. They were still improving color saturation and so on and so forth, right? But guess what? It's actually them who invented digital photography. And they survive today because they're selling the IPs that they have invented. Very strange. Okay, next one. You can also classify innovation in this 10 form. And this classification came from a company called Dublin. Okay, so when we talk about innovation, generally we talk about it being a product or a service. Okay, so you can innovate in the area, according to Dublin, in the area of product performance. So BMW, for instance, everything that they do is all about performance. Or you could be a product system. Microsoft Office, for instance, they got all the different software. The software come to work together. Something on Excel can go to Word, Word can go to, I don't know, PowerPoint or things like that, right? So the different product works together with each other. You call that innovation in the area of product services, product system. Services would be company like Singapore Airlines. They have been rated like the #1 for a long time, right? So this company focuses on service. From pre-flight, during flight, and post-flight, they treat you like king and queen. Okay, so innovation could be in these 3 categories: product performance, product system, or services. It can also be in this area, processes. It could be about enabling process or core processes. Enabling process is this. You guys know this, Starbucks. Long time ago when Starbucks started, they pride in the how good their service is. When they do a survey, they found that their service, they don't do well in their service. So what they found is that the guys who are serving the customer don't understand service. Do you notice, how many of you work for Starbucks? No one? Okay. Do you notice that a lot of the people working at Starbucks are students? You notice that? They train them well, they pay them a little bit, a little bit more than others. Starbucks in the US, for instance, you can even go and study. They'll help you with your studies for your degree and things like that. Why they do that, instead of hiring someone that is lowly educated and pay them very little, is that students, much better educated, understand the concept of service. And when they can understand the concept of service, they can give good service to the customer. Am I making sense? Okay, so that's what they do, enabling process. The process of them hiring and training better educated staff, that allows them to have better service, better process for their business. Core processors, you guys know who Walmart is? Yes? So it's like a Giant or a Tesco or a Carrefour, right? But this guy is so big that it can be as big as a country. For a retail chain like this, you would think that they have got some kind of a huge warehouse. Agree? So maybe a outlet somewhere says, hey, I'm out of coffee, I'm out of sugar, I'm whatever. Then you take from the store, the warehouse to this place, right? But Walmart do not have a warehouse. They have what is called a cross-docking station. The way cross-docking station works is that trucks comes in on one side, they take product off that truck, split it into many small little bunch. It goes into the separate truck on the other side of the docking station. Okay, which means they don't come out from the truck and get stored somewhere and then split later on. They come out from the truck, they get split immediately to the separate trucks. Okay, then on the other side, once the trucks are all filled up, they go and deliver their goods, meaning they don't stay in a warehouse at all. So if you don't stay in a warehouse, the cost of building a huge warehouse eliminated. One, the money that you need to pay to buy those things and let it sit in your warehouse is gone. When you eliminate all these costs, what you can do is that you can because you don't have to, these costs are not incurred, you can actually reduce your price. And that's one of the things that they are doing. Are we okay? Next one, you can innovate in the area of finance. You know, long time ago, Dell was the only company that could do this. You go online, you select the configuration that you want, swipe your credit card, they take your money, and 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, the item arrives, right? At the time that you order the product, Dell doesn't even have any of those parts yet, but in that 1-2 weeks, they managed to get all these parts from the respective manufacturer to a point somewhere in China, assemble it, test it, and ship it to you. It's amazing, right? Today, everybody knows how to do it. That is also in the area of core processors. But I say that this model is in a form of a business model. Why? When you say, I want this configuration and I want to change the CPU, I want to have more hard disk, I want to have more memory, or whatever the case may be, and you swipe your card, you paid, they took your money. Only at that point in time, they start ordering the parts. They have not paid the vendor yet. Okay. Now, imagine Dell. They're buying a lot of things, right? So what they will tell the vendor is that you want to do business with me, 60 days term. So they get all the product and they pay you much later. But guess what? They have got all your money. So that millions and hundreds of millions of money that they got from the order, just putting it in a bank, they'll make more money already anyway. That's business model. Okay, let me give you another example of business model. At some point, you guys will be buying a house. And at some point, you'll be selling a house. Okay? Who is in between the buyer and the seller? A lawyer. Nobody trusts anyone but a lawyer. Okay? So the guy who is buying a house gives the money to the lawyer. The lawyer is the one who is going to help you close the transaction, right? So maybe a month later or 2 months later, the seller gets his money. In between that 1-2 months, guess what the lawyer does with the money? He invests it. How do I know? There was one deal where the lawyer said, can you please don't bank in that check yet? We forgot to take the money out. That's how we found out. So why are lawyers so rich? Because they're doing things like that. It's not illegal. It's completely legal. But they have the opportunity of taking this money, instead of just holding onto it and doing nothing. That 1-2 months he invests it. He's using someone else's money to make money for himself, just like what Dell would do. Okay, that clever thinking allows you to innovate, right? The next one is alliances. You guys know this? Have you seen this? Cheesecake, frozen cheesecake, croissants. So some say yes, some say no. You can buy this here in Malaysia, but they don't have a factory here in Malaysia. Do you think they'll fly their cheesecake or their croissants, frozen croissant, by air to this place? No way. Do you think McDonald's fly their bun from the US? No way, right? How do they have it? How would they have this product here? Is that they form network or alliances with some other people, and then they'll make the product to their specs, and then they'll sell it from there. Are we okay? Now my father-in-law is a baker. I used to say this. I say I love bread so much I marry a baker's daughter. I mean, he's down south. McDonald's once went to him and said, I want you to make this bun to these specs and so on and so forth, and I would pay you this much. He'll look at it and say, the margin is not worth it. Thank you very much. Then someone else more hungry, wanting the business, would grab the business and produce bun like that. So that's the same area as this. They form network or alliances with someone else to produce the part for you. There was once I was a consultant for a company, and the CEO gave me his ID badge to go into the factory. I went into the factory. They were making LCD monitor, television. The same monitor at the end, there are two trays. One says, I cannot even remember the name of that company. The other one says Telefunken. So the same product goes through at the end of the line. He just has to stick Telefunken or the other company. So it's exactly the same product. Exactly the same product, just different batch. Okay, so that's the same as this. You just form network or alliances with someone else. It's too costly for you to have a factory on your own. Just get someone else to do it for you. Subcontract it for them. So by doing that, you now have access to other market. That's this area. Okay, the last group. You can innovate in the area of channel, brand, or customer experience. Channel. You guys know who Martha Stewart is? Yes? Okay. She has a talk show, a radio talk show, a TV talk show, a magazine, a website. What is she doing? You have a product that you need to sell. You need a channel to sell it to a customer, right? You need a channel to make your product available to customer. That's what she does. You would use her channel to then eBay. It's a channel. Correct? Alibaba is also a channel. It's a channel for you to sell your stuff. JobStreet is a channel for you to find jobs. Okay? You guys, anyone of you drank this before? No, of course not. Of course not. Have you guys seen this bottle before? Yes. What is so good about this vodka? Huh? Not that good. You have not tested it and you say it's not that good. But what is good about it? I have got friends that says, I only want the bottle. It's only the image. I only want the bottle. He can just throw it away and he only wants the bottle. So it's an image thing. It's a branding thing. Customer experience. Harley Davidson. You know those guys that tie a handkerchief around their head and they've got a shirt that's got no sleeve and it's full of leather, and they go and do things, some tattoo I suppose, and they go and enjoy the breeze on their face. Then Harley Davidson, what they would do is they create event that allows people of the same kind come together and enjoy themselves. So it's all about the experience. What am I saying with these slides is this. Whenever we talk about innovation, chances is that you're focusing on this. Okay? You could innovate in the area of process, finance, and delivery. Okay? So it is all about creation of value. It doesn't matter whether it's only a product or services, anything that you do that creates value. So Dublin has made it easy by telling us that there are these 10 areas that you can look into. And I think recently they said there's 11. I have not looked into the 11th. So the question now is this. How do you innovate? We talk about what innovation is, and we talk about why you innovate, and the question of how you innovate. Okay, you guys look tired. I'm going to quickly go through this and then we'll call it the day, okay? Design thinking consists of these 4 simple steps. The first one is understand, observe, ideate, prototype. Just 4 simple steps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video, 22 minutes. Okay, 22 minutes. It's a very, very old video. I don't have anything newer to show you. In 1999, I think, ABC America went to a company called IDEO and asked them to redesign the shopping cart. And this is the process that I show, which is more or less understand, observe, ideate, prototype. Okay? Are we okay?